The 90s have been known for being the golden age for many different things, and talk shows was one of them. There were many different breakout talk shows that had audiences on the edge of their seats every day to see some of the most interesting, heartwarming, or shocking stories. But it would be what happened after a man named Scott Amedure revealed his crush on the Jenny Jones Show that would be the most shocking of all. Scott Amedure was born on January 26, 1963, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. His father, Frank Amedure, was a local tractor-trailer driver, and his mother, Patricia Graves Amedure, was a housewife. He also had a younger sister named Tina, and 3 elder brothers named Frank, Mike, and Wayne. Eventually, the young family moved to Waterford, Michigan to start a new life, but his mother and father's marriage would end in divorce only 2 years later. After the divorce, Scott and his siblings primarily stayed with their father. When reaching the age of 17, Scott joined the Army and was trained in satellite communications. After working hard and traveling, he left the service with an honorable discharge and a rank of a specialist. He continued his career in technical communications for the next couple of years, and then decided to become a bartender, due to him enjoying people and also the night hours. He was known for being a very caring person. He was a part of the LGBTQ+ community, and was known for taking in many people that were shunned from their families. On March 6, 1995, Bernard agreed to participate in an episode of The Jenny Jones Show that surrounded secret admirers confessing their attraction to their crush. At the time, the person that caught Amedure's eye was his neighbor, Jonathan Schmitz. At the time, Scott was unsure of Schmidt's dating preferences, but agreed to reveal his feelings on air. When being notified and agreeing to do the show, Schmitz was unsure of who his secret admirer could have been, but thought that it was a woman of his past. When speaking with the producers, they gave him a hint that his secret admirer could be a man or a woman, but this was all they enlightened him on. The show segment began with Scott and a mutual friend of the two, who was said to be there in support of Scott, were interviewed by Jenny Jones. He went on to speak about his first time seeing Schmitz and the fantasies that he had about him, while Schmitz waited in the back with headphones. He was finally brought out, and there was no time wasted in revealing who his crush was. When it was revealed that Scott was his crush, he was noticeably nervous and uncomfortable, although he smiled through the whole thing and kept his composure. As the segment went on, Schmidt stated that he had no knowledge that Scott had an attraction for him, and that he was single, but that he was a heterosexual man and did not have the same feelings as Scott. Scott took this well and left it at that. With the idea that everything was fine between the two, they went back home, and after the show, on the way home, the 3 ended up on the same plane, and Schmitz even opted to get a drink with the 2 before going their separate ways. It's said that Schmitz went out the night after and got very drunk, and the day after that, he withdrew a large amount of money from the bank, and afterwards, he purchased a shotgun and then made his way to Scott's home. When arriving to his home, it's alleged that there was some kind of conversation between the 2, and afterwards, Schmitz walked back to his car, retrieved his shotgun, and went back inside. He shot Scott twice in the chest and then quietly left. Not long after, Scott's neighbor Gail Clinton found him. 15 minutes after leaving the scene, Jonathan would end up calling the police himself and confessed what he did to the 911 operator. He said that the reason that he did what he did to Scott was because Scott embarrassed him on a national television show, and that Scott also left a suggestive note at his door when he got home. Soon after, Jonathan was arrested. It would be a few months later that the trial would begin, and during the trial, the producers and Jenny Jones testified because the family of Jonathan believed that the show played a part in the tragic events that took place after the show. It's alleged that Jonathan had been drinking before the appearance on the show, and that the Jenny Jones Show provided alcohol to him as well. It was also alleged that Scott was told before they started to make it look good, or Jenny Jones would be upset. Jonathan's attorneys also stated that when Jonathan asked for hints of who his secret admirer could be, he didn't just accept the first answer of, well, it could be a man or a woman. It's said that Jonathan told them that he didn't want to participate if it was a man, and that he went back to the producers several times with the same questions, in which ultimately one of them allegedly alluded to the idea that it was a woman and not a man. The case was not as cut and dry as you would imagine, being that Jonathan did confess to the crime. His attorneys indicated that Jonathan was not in the right state of mind when he did what he did. They claimed that he was drinking and doing drugs before the crime, and was also a manic depressive, bipolar, and suffered abuse during his childhood that left him in a fragile mental state. But the strongest defense that was used was a defense called the LGBTQ panic defense. The LGBTQ panic defense is a legal strategy in which a defendant claims to have acted in a state of violent temporary insanity, committing assault or murder because of an unwanted same-sex sexual advance. Not gonna lie, it was within researching this case that I'd ever heard that this defense existed. On the other side of things, it was rumored that Scott mentioned to friends of his that there was a physical encounter that had happened between the two. Another rumor was that Jonathan had been seen frequenting the LGBTQ+ club scene, but that he was never really seen engaging with anyone, and mostly would circle the club and then leave. But with all of this, there was a major focus on the talk show and the alleged pushy nature of the producers to have an entertaining show segment for ratings that caused the tragic turn of events. On November 12, 1996, Jonathan was found guilty of second-degree murder and illegal possession of a firearm in commission of a felony. And on December 4th, he was given a 20 to 50-year sentence, of which he would have to at least serve 20 to become eligible for parole. Schmitz was released from prison on August 22, 2017. Jonathan refrained from the public eye and keeps his life very private and low-key.